Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
And we will free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
Within our lifetime!
Within our lifetime!
We will free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
Within our lifetime!
Within our lifetime!
And there is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
From New York to Gaza!
New York to Gaza!
Globalize the Intifada!
Globalize the Intifada!
Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
I'm going to ask y'all to come a little closer. I'm going to ask y'all to step forward a little closer. Rain or shine, we're out here to defend Palestine. I want to hear you. I want Brooklyn to hear you. I want the world to hear us. Even if it's just a few people who came out here today, despite the rain, despite these wild thunderstorms, and the fact that New York is on tornado watch right now, apparently. We're still standing strong in solidarity with Palestine, whether or not it's trending. So I want everyone to hear us, and we're recording these and we're sharing this with people back home in Palestine, with people in our communities, to know that there are still people out here fighting for Palestinian liberation, regardless of whether it's a trending topic or not. So I really want to hear you. And I want them to hear the passion and strength in our voices. Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
And we will free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
Within our lifetime!
Within our lifetime!
We will free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
Within our lifetime!
Within our lifetime!
Resistance is justified
Resistance is justified!
when people are colonized!
People are colonized!
Resistance is justified
Resistance is justified!
when people are colonized!
People are colonized!
And there's only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada, intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Long live intifada!
Long live Intifada!
New York to Gaza!
New York to Gaza!
Globalize the intifada!
Globalize the Intifada!
From Bangladesh to Gaza!
Bangladesh to Gaza!
Globalize the intifada!
Globalize the Intifada!
Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free! Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
All our people will be free!
All our people will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
All our lands will be free!
All our
3 to 4 months, some of you for the last 5 or 6 years. But I don't see enough familiar faces. Unfortunately, like I was saying in the beginning, there are some people who only come out for Palestine when it's a trending topic. But we've been waging this battle for over 70 years as Palestinian people. We've been resisting settler colonialism. We've been resisting genocide. We've been resisting ethnic cleansing by any means necessary. So our struggle is not new. Our struggle didn't start just a few months ago. And while some people may only just heard of it, we know that the true masses of the world, the oppressed people of the world, oppressed nations, have known about Palestine and have stood in solidarity with the Palestinian liberation struggle for decades. This is why we chant, globalize the Intifada. This is why we uplift the slogan of globalize the Intifada. Because support for Palestinian liberation, support for Palestinian Intifada has been and will always be global. And it is up to us to take the lessons we learn from Palestinians resisting and leading uprisings on the ground to bring this Intifada over here to New York City. And to globalize the Intifada all over the world. Bangladesh is one of many nations that has stood by the Palestinian struggle for decades. Back in the 80s, Bangladesh sent over 8,000 fighters to help the Palestinian resistance struggle. We see this support echoing until today as we stand here in Kensington, one of the largest Bengali communities in the US, which is also the largest, as Bengalis make up the fastest growing immigrant population in New York City. We are standing here today because we have seen the unequivocal solidarity that the Bengali people have expressed with the Palestinian people over the past many decades, and even here in New York City, showing up from rally to rally. Seeing the Bengali flag waving, the Bangladeshi flag waving at every rally. Seeing people from our organization who've been committed to this struggle for years, who come from this community, we know that this solidarity and support goes both ways, which is why we are standing here today. Today is the first of many upcoming rallies that we are going to have to show what globalized the Intifada really means, to show the unequivocal solidarity that the oppressed masses, the oppressed nations and people of the world have with one another. And how Palestine has always been a moral compass for people of the world, as well as a struggle that people have always supported. My name is Nazim Kiswani. I'm from Within Our Lifetime. And we are excited to be standing here with you, supporting Palestine from Bangladesh to Brooklyn, to New York, to all over the world. And I just wanted to make an announcement of another upcoming action we have next week, which is also part of this ongoing campaign, because we want to show whether it's workers, whether it's Black liberation, whether it's the Bangladeshi community, whether it's standing in solidarity with the socialist revolution in Cuba, the people of the world have always stood in solidarity with Palestine, and we must also show solidarity with them. And this is why I wanted to announce the second rally of our Block the Boat action that we are having. The second iteration of the Globalize the Intifada series of rallies that are coming to you. Next week, we are having a mass picket to stop the apartheid Israeli Zim ship on Sunday, July 25th at 6 a.m. at Maher Terminal, 1210 Corbin Street in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I know it's early, but last time we were out there, we had a crowd even bigger than this at 6 o'clock in the morning, all the way in New Jersey. I know it was raining today. I know it's very hot and it's hard for a lot of people to come out, but make sure you tell people of the upcoming rally. Let them know that we cannot let the momentum die down, that we have to be out here for Palestinian liberation, whether or not it's mainstream news. They are continuing the fight on the ground in Palestine. We must continue to support and uplift Palestinian resistance from here as well. So again, remember to truly emphasize and support this call to globalize the Intifada. We have to understand that it's not just a slogan. It's not just a symbolic statement, but a material fact. It means connecting the dots between our struggles through education and through direct action, so that people understand that defending the right of Palestinian people to resist Zionist occupation means defending the right of people all over the world to resist U.S. imperialism, to resist capitalism, and to resist all oppressive ideologies and all oppressive forces. We are organizing these rallies with so many different groups around the cities that have proclaimed solidarity with the Palestinian people. But I first want to give the mic to groups that have been standing by us for years, that have had Palestinian liberation on their tongues since the inception. We have them with us here today, and I want you all to give the speakers an extra close listen. I know sometimes we can't hear when the crowd is too big. The advantage of having a smaller crowd is that we're able to actually listen in on this political education and take it with us everywhere we go. So I really want you all to listen to these speakers very closely. We have people from different organizations, different communities and backgrounds all over the city standing with Palestine today. And we're gonna have you guys do a few more chants before we pass it on to the speakers list. Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
And we will free Palestine!
We will free Palestine!
Within our lifetime!
he has been throwing it down for Palestine actions over the last few years. And they're also leading the Globalize the Intifada campaign of rallies with us. So please give it up for Decolonize This Place.
Thank you all. I'm just going to use these words to actually, that political education that Nadine was talking about, and to let people know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. So everyone can start thinking. But in general, I just want to thank the Bangladeshi community for inviting us here. And I want you to know that when we talk about Palestine, we have Bangladesh in our hearts, because we know our liberation is either collective or non-existent. And so by being actually forced from Palestine, more Palestinians live outside of Palestine than inside of Palestine. And that's important because it means that we have a lot more connections outside of Palestine, and we're part of communities and struggles, and we need to show up for them like they show up for us, period. So when we're talking about globalize the Intifada, we're talking about an analytic. We're talking about a strategic decision. We're talking about becoming ungovernable. If we live in a Zionist city where they make us afraid to care for our homelands and our people, that's not going to deter us from organizing together. We want to see the streets indigenous, brown, black, migrant, native, allies who are settlers, all throw down, because we recognize when we come together, we are stronger. Now, when we say globalize the Intifada, in a couple of weeks, we're going to announce several weeks. So every weekend, we're going to be in different communities, working on the ground with people to amplify their struggles in the neighborhood on whatever they are working on, and see what kind of connection that has to Palestine. And we're going to use that space week after week. So in the beginning of September, we are thousands from our struggles converging on a day or a week, where people understand when we say free Palestine, we are questioning everything. Because people should not be oppressed by oligarchs, by occupiers, by Zionists. So just remember, let's say you're working on an anti-gentrification struggle. Take back the Bronx, hashtag take back the Bronx. Hashtag globalize the Intifada. Because every little thing that you do, if it's oriented towards a revolutionary horizon, we win.
Free! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
We are very honored to welcome our next speakers from Drum. Daisy's Rising Up and Moving. We have Saeed speaking on behalf of Drum here today. Drum is one of the first organizations who we look to as a model for organizing in the community. And we are so proud and so honored to have them standing with us today and standing with Palestine every day. Please give them a warm welcome.
Salam, brothers and sisters. My name is Saeed. I am an undocumented immigrant from Bangladesh. Both of them? Could people hear me clearly before? Okay, all right. I'll just start over. Salam, brothers and sisters. My name is Saeed. I am the youth organizer at Drum, and I'm also an undocumented immigrant from Bangladesh. I have been living in the United States for the past 7 years, and over the past 7 years, I have been working with Drum to basically reduce policing in New York City schools, right? Now, a couple of years ago, something really shook me, which was not only, it's the colonization of Palestine, but also the fact that the strategies that are used on our Palestinian brothers and sisters by the Israeli police are then practiced and improvised and then shared with the NYPD to continue surveillance and criminalization of black and brown working class people all over New York City. And that's just another reason why we must continue to build solidarity and fight against oppressive forces all over the world. And another thing that I feel very important to bring to attention is we do not see this as a religious conflict. It's not between Muslims and Jews. We see it as a conflict against colonialism and displacement of people. And the last thing I want to say is we must continue to organize and fight against oppressive forces all over the world. And inshallah, within our lifetime, Palestine will be free.
Give it up to Drum. Through directly being involved in the community or supporting organizations like Drum that are fighting policing in our public schools, we have to be aware of and elevate these struggles. Free! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
And there is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada! Intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Mobilize the Intifada!
Mobilize the Intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Mobilize the Intifada!
Mobilize the Intifada!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
And there is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
For those of you that have been coming out rally after rally, you know and you've seen how many times we've taken over Bay Ridge. And you've seen how we stood with our comrades and Mexicanos Unidos just a few weeks ago. On July 4th, taking over Sunset Park. This is the taste of globalized the Intifada and where it started. Standing with our comrades in Sunset Park, the neighborhood right next to Bay Ridge, and now Kensington, taking over Brooklyn, neighborhood over neighborhood. Different oppressed nationalities, Palestinian, Arab, Mexican, Bangladeshi, Bengali. And now we have Mexicanos Unidos standing with us today, so I want you to all give them a warm welcome. Give it up for our next speaker, Brian.
Long live the Cuban Revolution. Que viva la Revolución Cubana. Now today I just want to talk to y'all today about working on our internal contradictions and what's needed to really free Palestine. Because we say it, but some of us aren't prepared to do what's necessary to free Palestine. Now, I want to make something very clear today. It's the difference between revolution and war. Wars are waged against humanity, but revolutions seek to regenerate humanity. We have to understand that because violence makes many uncomfortable, but they don't understand that we're just stepping in violence all day. Violent policy all around us when you see the unhoused, when you see the forcefully displaced, when you see those in poverty. That's violence, and it's going on all around us. Now revolutions are like torrential rain. They're like overwhelming floods, and they'll take anything that's in its way, but it'll leave the ground nurtured and ready to grow for us. That's what revolutions are supposed to do. That's a big difference. Now, it's important to understand that difference and understand that many more have died due to imperialist wars. Many more have died to malnutrition. Many more have died to poverty. Many more have died to illnesses triggered by exploitation than any bloody revolution that's ever taken place in history. I wanted to keep it brief and just let y'all know that you should walk with that today and understand the difference between revolution and war, and why what we do is righteous and what they do, the war on Palestinians, the war on black lives here on these streets, the war on indigenous lives at the border. We seek to abolish war. That's what revolution seeks to do, is abolish war, abolish poverty, abolish hunger. We are abolitionists, and that's what it means to be an abolitionist. We must first abolish our privilege. We have to understand our privilege, and we have to abolish that. And once we abolish it, we can become closer, because there is nothing distinguishing us. There is no classes. Only the working class hegemony is something that we have to work to establish, whether it's the Bangladeshi garment worker, or the oppressed Palestinian worker, or the agricultural worker here. We're going to establish that. We can give our labor new meaning by establishing working class political power. But we don't have to wait to do it all over. We can start here right now, and that's what this is about today, and coming to the heart of the Bangladeshi community, is establishing some working class political power in solidarity with Palestine. Globalize the intifada from Palestine to Mexico. All the walls have got to go. Thank you for your time.
Palestine to Mexico!
From Palestine to Mexico!
All the walls have got to go!
All the walls have got to go!
From Palestine to Mexico!
From Palestine to Mexico!
All the walls have got to go!
All the walls have got to go!
From Palestine to Mexico!
From Palestine to Mexico!
All the walls have got to go! Speaking of working class solidarity with Palestine, once again I want to announce an important action that we are having next week. This is what it means to globalize the intifada. Working class solidarity is a part of globalizing the intifada, and it's the main and integral part. This is why the Block the Boat, New York and New Jersey coalition are returning to Maher Terminal on Sunday, July 25th at 6 a.m. at 1210 Corbin Street in Elizabeth, New Jersey. After leading the first ever Palestine protest at the Port of New York and New Jersey last month. Join us this Sunday as we mobilize for another community picket line to let Zim, apartheid Israel's largest shipping company, know that they are not welcome in New York and New Jersey. free. And we'll send you updates. If you didn't catch that number, you can find it on our Instagram at WOL Palestine on Instagram. Look at the post for Block the Globalized Intifada, and it has all the information there. And there is only one solution.
There is only one solution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada, intifada.
Intifada, intifada.
Long live the intifada.
Long live the intifada.
Intifada, intifada.
Intifada, intifada.
Globalize the intifada.
Globalize the intifada.
Intifada, intifada.
Intifada, intifada.
Globalize the intifada.
Globalize the intifada.
Please give it up for our next speakers. We have Lal Morich here with us today. Organizers who've been coming out for Palestine relentlessly. And they have a dope sign with them today too for Bengalis for Palestine.
এখানে মাইন্ড করেন না, আমরা বাংলাদেশে একটু বাঙ্গা বাঙ্গা হয়, চেষ্টা করেন আমার সাথে একসাথে বসতে। এখানে আমি চেষ্টা করতেছি শুদ্ধ ভাষা বলতে। বা আমরা 3 মাস ধরে এখানে ঈদের সময় আমরা সবাই দেখছিলাম ইসরায়েল কি করছে প্যালেস্টাইনকে, তাই না? ইনোসেন্ট পলাপায় মহিলা বাসা বিল্ডিং টিল্ডিং সব বম ফেলে কি করছে। আজকে আমরা এখন কি করতেছি, ইউনাইটেড নেশন বিলে মাত্র $30 মিলিয়ন মাত্র দিবে, 2 বছর লাগবে গাজা থেকে সব ঠিক করতে, আইডিকে ঠিক করতে। 2 বছরের ভিতরে আবার ইসরায়েল আইসা আবার জ্ঞান করবে। এই যে আমরা এখন কথা বলতেছি, ইসরায়েলে এখনই সিলওয়ান বিভিন্ন জায়গায়, জেরুসালামে সব জায়গায় এখন ইসরায়েলের দ্বারা মানুষকে বাসা থেকে বাইক করে বাড়িঘর বাইকে নিয়ে যেতেছে। আপনাদেরকে একটা এক্সাম্পল দিই এখানে, আপনাদের কেমন লাগবে? আপনাদের এই বাংলাদেশে এখন মোদি যদি বাংলাদেশে যাইয়া সব হিন্দু মানুষ নিয়ে আপনাদের সব বাংলাদেশে তো সবাই, নিউ ইয়র্কে তো সবাই বলে আমাদের জায়গা জমিন আছে, বাংলাদেশে ফ্ল্যাট আছে, জায়গা আছে, সব আছে, তাই না? আমাদের এই জায়গা জমিন মোদি যদি আইসা হিন্দুকে যদি নিয়ে সব যদি মসজিদ ভাঙা ফেলায়, সব যদি আমাকে বাড়ি ঘর নিয়ে যদি হিন্দুকে দিয়ে দেয়, আমাদের এখান থেকে থাকে কেমন লাগবে? আর আমাকে যদি বলা বাঙালিরা কোনোদিন পারবেন না যাইতে বাংলাদেশে, আমাদের এখন কেমন লাগবে? এখন ভালো লাগবে না, তাই না? আমার এখন কেমন লাগবে? আমাদের নানি দাদির আত্মীয় সবাই যদি ওখানে মেরা ফেলা বম ফেলাইয়া ভালো লাগবে না? না, আমাদের কেমন ভালো লাগবে না ওখানে। এই জন্য আমাদের সবার একসাথে হইতে হবে। খালি কেনসিংটন না, খালি ব্রঞ্জ না, খালি নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটি না, খালি নিউ ইয়র্ক না, আমাদের সারা আমেরিকা থেকে, মেক্সিকো থেকে, ইংল্যান্ড থেকে, আফ্রিকা থেকে, ইন্ডিয়া থেকে, ফিলিপিন্স, বাংলাদেশ, আমাদের সব জায়গায় একসাথে হইতে হবে। আমাদের সবাই শিখতে হবে। চেঞ্জ কোনো আমরা করি না ভোট করতে যাই, আমরা ভোট করবো যারা আমাদের জন্য কথা বলে, ভোট করবো যারা আমাদের সাথে এখানে এসে আজকে দাঁড়াবে। পলিটিশিয়ান আজকে কই আমাদের সাথে দাঁড়াইতেছে? তারা কই আজকে দাঁড়াইতেছে আমাদের সাথে? তারা কেউ এখানে নাই। তারা সব ভোট পায়, তারা স্বার্থপর, তারা সব স্বার্থপর। তাদেরকে বলেন তারা কই? তারা সেলিব্রেট করতেছে আর প্যালেস্টাইনের ভিতরে ফলাফল এখন মারা যাইতেছে। ইনোসেন্ট ফলাফল মারা যাইতেছে। আর কত ফলাফল মারা যাবে? প্রত্যেক দিন আমরা ফোনের ভিতরে চাই দেখি ফলাফল কাঁদতেছে। আপনাদের কেমন লাগবে? আপনাদের শুরু বাচ্চা যদি কান্দে আজকে, কেউ আজকে ভালো লাগবে না, তাই না? আমাদের সবাই সজাগ হইতে হবে, সবাই হুঁশিয়ার হইতে হবে, সবাই সচেতন বাড়া। বিপ্লব ছাড়া আর কোনো কিছু নাই। এই আন্দোলন সবার একসাথে করতে হবে, আর বিপ্লব সবাই একসাথে করে এই পুরো সিস্টেম ভাঙা পালাতে হবে। এই সিস্টেম না ভাঙা আমরা পারবো না উপরে উঠতে। অনেক সময় জিনিস ভাঙা আবার ফিরে উপরে উঠতে হবে। ইনশাল্লাহ আমরা পারবো। ইনশাল্লাহ সবাই যদি একসাথে হই, আমরা সবাই ইনশাল্লাহ একসাথে হইয়া আমরা প্যালেস্টাইন স্বাধীন করবো, বাংলাদেশ স্বাধীন করবো, মেক্সিকো স্বাধীন করবো, ফিলিপিন্স স্বাধীন করবো, ইয়েমেন স্বাধীন করবো, সবাই স্বাধীন করবো। খালি একজন স্বাধীন হবো না, সবাই স্বাধীন হবো ইনশাল্লাহ।
Palestine! sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
And we will free Palestine.
We will free Palestine.
Within our lifetime.
Within our lifetime.
We will free Palestine.
We will free Palestine.
Within our lifetime.
Within our lifetime.
Up to our last speaker, Nazifa from CUNY for Palestine.
Hi everyone, my name is Nazifa and I go to CCNY. I'm a member of CUNY for Palestine and I'm a Bangladeshi immigrant and I am so privileged to be part of a community and a country who have been in solidarity with the Palestinian people. I want to go back in history and talk about our history and its link to the Palestinian liberation. After the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971, Israel was one of the very first countries who recognized our independence, but Bangladesh rejected the recognition. Why? Because we know what oppression is and we stood against it. Because Bangladesh refused to recognize Israel as Israel until we saw a liberated Palestine. Since then, Bangladesh has no diplomatic ties with the state of Israel. The Bangladesh passport said, quote unquote, the passport is valid for all the countries in the world except for Israel. In May 2021, except for Israel was taken off the passport at a time when Israel's crimes were unfolding in front of the world. The Bangladesh government went on to removing the phrase right after the people of Bangladesh were in the streets protesting for Palestinian liberation. And Bangladesh further continues to say that they would still not maintain any diplomatic relationship, but just as we've heard from Lal Morich, that they lie. They do trade with the Zionist regime, and they refuse any diplomatic ties with the state of Israel. Should we trust our government? No. Fuck no. I want to talk about something else. Yesterday marked the 7-year anniversary of the killings of 4 young Palestinian boys in Gaza. They were killed in an Israeli strike on 16 July 2014. Their names were Ismail, 9 years old, Ahed, 10 years old, Zakaria, 10 years old, and Mohammed, 11 years old. They were all cousins from the Bakr family. They were playing football on the beach, and then the first blast hit, and they ran. But the second blast got them. Israel claimed that they targeted Hamas militants at the port, but the targeted were these 4 boys.
আমার নাম নিল
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
And there is only one solution!
Only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
Like I said, this is still not done. We want to march, we want to take the streets, and we want to show how loud we can get for Palestine. So I want folks to come closer, and I want to hear you, and I
revolution. There is only one solution. Intifada revolution. Intifada revolution. And what do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. And what do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it. Shut it down. 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 Free Palestine! 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 From Palestine to Mexico! Palestine to Mexico! Apartheid walls have got to go! Apartheid walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico! Palestine to Mexico! Apartheid walls have got to go! When Palestine is under attack, Palestine is under attack. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? When Palestine is under attack, when Palestine is under attack, what do we do? What do we do? Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! From New York to Gaza, globalize the Intifada. From New York to Gaza, globalize the Intifada. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Structure settlers dynasty. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Structure settlers dynasty.
Not just annexation, not just occupation.
Liberation, bring the whole thing down. Not another day go, not another day. No more money for us, it's right. Free Palestine. 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 From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. We will free Palestine. We will free Palestine. Within our lifetime. We will free Palestine. We will free Palestine. Within our lifetime. Resistance is justified. When people are occupied. Resistance is justified. When people are organized. When people are organized. Free Palestine. 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 From Palestine to Bangladesh. Globalize the Intifada. From Palestine to Bangladesh. Globalize the Intifada. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose land? Our land. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose land? Our land. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose land? Our land. Free Palestine. Palestine will be free. Fight! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Palestine! 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 On live Intifada! Long live Intifada! 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 Long live the Intifada! Long live the Intifada! 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 Long live the Intifada! Long live the Intifada! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If Gaza doesn't get it, shut it down! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Never enough Simon Hadid! Never enough Simon Hadid! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Palestine, harra, harra!
Is what it looks like to globalize the Intifada. This is what it looks like to take the call, to take the action of Palestinian uprising. Workers standing in solidarity with Palestine, that is what globalize the Intifada looks like. Standing here with our Bengali comrades, with the Bengali people, the revolutionary people. This is what globalized the Intifada looks like. And as always, from restaurants, grocery stores, the mosques, community organizations, you all worked the Palestinian cause by mobilizing today. And as Palestinians, we know that the Bengali people are revolutionary people. You have always historically supported and fought for Palestinian liberation. Today's rally, we continued that fight. And today's rally, we showed New York City that Bengalis stand with Palestine! And like I said, and like Amin said at the beginning, this is far from over. This is just the beginning. Globalize the Intifada will continue to take place. MTA workers on the side of Palestine. That's what globalize the Intifada looks like. Getting the support of the masses in the streets. Showing that oppressed nations, that oppressed communities here in New York City, that workers stand with Palestine. And the next iteration of this is going to be next week. I announced it before, but I'm going to say it again because I want to see every single one of you here, and I want to see you bring 3 friends. Next week, on July 25th at 6 a.m. on Sunday, the Block the Boat New York and New Jersey Coalition is returning to Maher Terminal at 1210 Corbin St in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Last month, we led the first ever Palestine protest at the Port of New York and New Jersey. And we're gonna mobilize again for another community picket line to let Zim, apartheid Israel's largest shipping company, know that they are not welcome in New York and New Jersey. Our Block the Boat picket line on July 25th will be one of the kickoff events along with today for the Globalize the Intifada. And if you already haven't signed up for text message updates for Block the Boat, text your name to 833-320-1973 and we'll text you with updates for information on this specific Block the Boat rally. But I just wanted to make sure that you all know We are internationalists and we are anti-imperialists. So that necessarily means that we support the self-determination of oppressed people. We support people all over the world fighting U.S. imperialism by any means necessary, with whatever they have, from whatever they are, and we see and know that this struggle is connected to Palestine. This is what globalized the Intifada is all about. Just like we marched in the Mexican community along with our Mexican comrades in Sunset Park, just as we march today along with our Bengali comrades, we're going to keep marching and keep taking the streets for all people, with all people fighting oppression. We will be making more updates very, very soon. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at WOL Palestine, where we'll be posting updates. Decolonize This Place will also be posting updates along with other organizations that we work with. So again, I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause for coming out for Palestine today. And let's bring the momentum back. Let's bring the momentum back. Let's show that people think that the rallies are done, that the energy is done. It's not done, because y'all are out here today. And next week, you're gonna bring more people. And every week until the end of the summer, we will be having a rally. And every single week, I wanna see those numbers grow. It starts off with you here. So before we leave, let's do a few more chants for Palestine. And remember what the struggle is all about. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Oh, Bab al-Aqsa bin Hadid!
باب الأقصى من حديد
ما بيفتح إلا الشهيد!
ما بيفتح إلا الشهيد
باب الأقصى من حديد!
باب الأقصى من حديد
ما بيفتح إلا الشهيد!
ما بيفتح إلا الشهيد.
There's also one more announcement I wanted to make. I know it's about to rain, we're all about to get going, but I also wanted to remind people that today is the 7th-year anniversary of the murder of Eric Garner, who was killed by NYPD in Staten Island. And we are taking a moment of silence to commemorate Eric Garner, to commemorate all people who have been killed by police. As we know that the NYPD and the police in this country are waging war on black people. And as we take a moment of silence for Eric Garner, we will also take a moment of silence for all our people in Palestine who continue to be killed resisting Israeli apartheid, resisting Israeli genocide, killed simply for being Palestinian. The NYPD who killed Eric Garner have an office in Tel Aviv. They have an office in Tel Aviv that's paid for by the New York City Police Foundation. Just as our comrade from Drum was speaking earlier, the NYPD trains with Israeli forces.
Do you mind if I click the flag?
The NYPD trains with Israeli forces, and they share tactics to oppress people, to oppress black people in the United States, black and brown people, including Palestinian people, as we've seen what has happened at protests with Palestinians being targeted. They share these tactics, learning from Israel and teaching Israel as well, and how they oppress Palestinians back home. This is why our struggles are united, and this is why we must globalize the Intifada. This is why we were chanting, and we will end with these chants in this community to make it accessible to the folks who grew up here, who live here, to understand. This is why we chant Palestine Zindabad and Intifada Zindabad. It means long live the Intifada. Live Palestine. Because we want the uprising, the Intifada, to revolution, to continue to live until all of our people are free.
We cannot be selectively free. We cannot do it one by one. We cannot do it in isolation. We must fight for it all together. Just as the imperialists unite to oppress us, the people here, the masses, the oppressed people of the world must unite in order to defeat them. This is what Layla Khalid has said, similar to what we have heard from Ghassan Kanafani, from Assad Shakur, from Black and Palestinian revolutionaries even before them. So we're gonna end with this, because I know folks want to get home. Looks like it's about to rain hard. Palestine Zindabad!
Palestine Zindabad!
Intifada Zindabad!
Intifada Zindabad!
Palestine Zindabad!
Palestine Zindabad!
Intifada Zindabad!
Intifada Zindabad!
Joy, joy, Palestine!
Joy, joy, Palestine!
Joy, joy, Bangla!
Joy, joy, Bangla!
Joy, joy, Palestine!
Joy, joy, Palestine!
Joy, joy, Bangla!
Joy, joy, Bangla!
Palestine Zindabad!
Palestine Zindabad!
Intifada Zindabad!
Intifada Zindabad!
Intifada, Intifada!
Intifada, Intifada!
Always Intifada!
Always Intifada!
Intifada, Intifada!
Intifada, Intifada!
Globalize the Intifada!
Globalize the Intifada!
And there is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada, Intifada,
Intifada, Intifada!
long live the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
And what do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
And what do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if Gaza doesn't get it,
Shut it down!
Judaism yes, Zionism no, the state of Israel must go.
Judaism yes! Zionism no!
The state of Israel must go. Judaism yes, Zionism no, the state of Israel must go. Judaism yes, Zionism no.
State of Israel must go!
Judaism yes,
Zionism no!
the state of Israel
Must go!
Judaism yes,
Zionism no! The state of Israel must go!
Judaism yes, Zionism no, the state of Israel must go.
Judaism yes! Zionism no! The state of Israel must go! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Palestine to Mexico.
From Palestine to Mexico!
Apartheid wasn't got to go.
Apartheid will have got to go!
From Palestine to Mexico.
From Palestine to Mexico!
Apartheid wasn't got to go.
Apartheid will have got to go!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free! 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 Palestine will be free!